All right, hi everyone. Welcome back to PKFX YouTube trading channel. So this particular video, instead of doing forex, we're going to be analyzing Bitcoin. It's 1st of April 2026, and I believe that we are currently in the middle of a bear market. So what we're going to look at is pretty much high-level time frames on what Bitcoin is doing, and we're going to go through at a monthly level, followed by weekly and daily. All right, and just some sort of prediction of potential movements in the upcoming months, and what is my personal plan over here. All right, so right now I am in Bitcoin monthly chart. You can see that each candle is pretty much a month, and for the past few months, all we have seen is pretty much a major dump in Bitcoin. The last 2 months seem to be holding up reasonably well. In fact, April just started, so I would say March was the only candle that has printed a green candle with a very strong week on the upside. So this kind of strong week in the upside is not really a very strong bullish momentum, because I'm not really seeing a strong bullish candle over here. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 5 months before March was all bearish, right? So I'm expecting a further fall for Bitcoin. In fact, I've marked my area that I'm interested in. I believe right now Bitcoin is actually in an ideal price point. I do see a lot of people aiming to enter Bitcoin over here. However, personally for me, I would like to wait until it reaches further down into my particular, I would say, support area, right? How did I get this box? It's pretty much the support and resistance zones that I charted according to the weekly candlesticks. Right now we are in monthly, so when we move to the weekly, I'd be better off showing you that one. But let's just go to Bitcoin's past movements, right? So this is pretty much what we have seen before this. If I were to measure the movements that Bitcoin has done in the past, right? If I take it from this peak point until this bottom over here, I see that's about 84% of a pullback, right? So 84% of a pullback is pretty significant, but this is what Bitcoin has done in the past. Of course, the year back then was like 2019, so it was pretty far behind, right? So 84%. Let's see what Bitcoin did in the previous bear market as well, right? So from the top, this weak point, until the bottom plus minus, we see that back in around somewhere around 2022-ish, it has done 77.7% pullback, worth of a pullback, right? In fact, this small pullback over here is technically not that small after all. This itself was about 55% correction before it made roughly, slightly a newer all-time high. I remember this was somewhere close to about 64K, and this was somewhere close to about 69K before the bear market initiated. Some people call this the top, some people call this the top. For me, I just look at structure, and when I see the monthly candle close, this was higher, right? This was higher high, and this was higher low. So for me, this was the high, and this was the weak high. So uh, the two bear markets before, we had 84% pullback and then 77.7% pullback. So I'm expecting pretty much from 65 to 75% of a pullback. Now, as we know, like the market can do anything it wants. Not necessarily it has to make 65 to 75% pullback. But let's see what the market has done so far. So if I look at from the peak, which was about 126K, to this bottom over here, which was about 60K, that's about 52% pullback. And that is the reason in why I believe there's still a little bit more room for a pullback, given that we have only come to about April now. So from October, we have October, November, December, January, February, March, April. That's about 6 to 7 months in already. So this may be an opportunity to start entering positions for Bitcoin However, I believe the market has to make another sort of correction, and I'm implying that based on this particular move. If you see the last bear market, it had 1, 2, 3 months of a pullback, a little bit of retracement, followed by another 1, 2, 3 months of a pullback, and then it slowly bled off before it actually made the run, right? So at minimum, it had like 2 dumps. It's still a sell, right? Or here, on the other hand, we had one solid dump, and now we are buffering over here. Can this act as a support and eventually Bitcoin moves up from here? Probably, but for me, I believe the structure right now on a monthly candlestick, right? In fact, I've drawn a line over here. You can see this is pretty much a sell, bearish movement, right? This is your lower low, and this is pretty much your lower high. So I'm expecting another form of a lower high and then followed by a lower low. So that is pretty much what I'm expecting in the upcoming months before Bitcoin finally gets out of its bear market, right? So that's the overlook on a monthly scale, right? I believe somewhere at the region below 60K is already a very good region to start entering positions. If I go to the weekly candlesticks, now you could see this yellow line over here. This is pretty much the simple moving average, which in the past has acted as, I would say, a reasonable support line. It has obviously broken below that as well, but whenever it comes close to the 200-week simple moving average, that acts as a sort of a strong base, right? And these boxes that I've drawn over here is pretty much the weekly level support and resistance area. All I did was pretty much identify the structure points, a significant structure point that Bitcoin has formed on the weekly basis, and I evaluated the supports and resistance and created a box to indicate that this is an area of interest, a zone of interest, a combination of support and resistance in the past that acts as a strong base where some sort of reaction can happen, right? So you can see the 200 weekly simple moving average is now coming in, and the price point is also pretty much coming very close, okay, to the simple moving average. It can be that Bitcoin continues to buffer over here, continues to range over here. Meanwhile, the SMA keeps building up, and eventually Bitcoin bounces from here. That can happen in the next few months if there's no major dumps. It can also come close to about 59, 58K, somewhere close to this SMA, and eventually make the jump as well. Or it could do what it has done in the past to break below, all right, to actually break below the 200 SMA and then eventually recover and then start a new bull market, right? So anywhere between these boxes that I've drawn, starting from 69 to 65, and then from 60 to 54, and then 51 to 49, and finally 46 to 43. All this, I believe, is a very good accumulation area. I leave it to your own expertise, your own analysis on how would you like to enter Bitcoin positions. Obviously, this is not financial advice. Consider this as entertainment purposes only. But I believe we are already at a sweet spot now to start considering for the next upcoming bull market. Now, we got to bear in mind the monthly candles is still a sell. The monthly candles is still a sell, right? This, you could see, is a very strong sell position. For it to flip back to a buy, obviously Bitcoin has to break above the previous higher low to make a new higher high, and that's way off the charts, right? So if I go on a weekly basis, right, this is my weekly. If I can just drag this outside, it's clearer that this is the weekly, I would say, lower low and lower high. So for weekly to turn bullish, all right, Bitcoin has to break above 93,000, right? 93, or let's call it 94,000, right? Bitcoin breaks and closes a candle closure, a weekly candle closure above this 93,688 point, then yeah, we can say that on a weekly candlestick, Bitcoin has now turned bullish. But even that is far off, right? So next we go down for the daily candlesticks. And if you see the daily candlesticks, right, Bitcoin has pretty much been ranging, all right, sideways for the past few days. In fact, this has been a past few weeks, right? Usually this kind of dump and then you have a ranging market tend to act as like a bearish flag pattern that eventually dumps down further as well. And even if it pumps higher above, we could see the 200-week SMA is now above us, that is also coming down. So this could act as a resistance for us. Instead of a support, this acts now as a resistance. Only when Bitcoin closes above this daily higher low at 89,000 and closes above this 200 SMA on a daily candle above by closing a nice solid candle above, then we can say, okay, on a daily basis, Bitcoin is now bullish. So these are long-term perspective. However, I believe any sort of rally will be short-lived, and eventually Bitcoin is bound to go all the way down, as the bigger time frame is indicating a flush downwards and then a ranging market followed by another flush downwards. And all these points, I would start considering any point below 200 SMA as being undervalued, and if it keeps dumping, it's going to be extremely undervalued. So these are extremely good opportunities to enter into Bitcoin positions for long runs, right? Because we are looking at daily candles, weekly candles, and monthly candles. So, all right, so there you go, guys. That's about it. That would be my Bitcoin analysis for the month of April right now. I believe we are just going to be ranging and then followed by another dump. If at all there is a pump, I believe it will be short-lived, and then eventually it will lead to another dump. And I believe the bear market did not just start. It has been going on for the past few months. In fact, we should be at least at minimum halfway through, or there's only a few more months left before the market eventually start turning bullish. This is what I see from the market, without any sort of news, without any sort of the war that is ongoing and everything, just purely price action, purely candlestick price movement. This is what I see. And any area below here, below the 60,000 mark, is actually a good buying point. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.